Okay, so I've been spray painting stuff for my Comic-Con display, and I was going through what I like to call at-home thrifting, which is when I go to the room where we keep all of the stuff that we used to have for like elementary school projects, and I usually actually find some stuff that I completely forgot about and I use it for other things. For example, these little ladies are going to be Halloween decorations again because I could not find my fake spiders. Well, I found some more. Hopefully I'll find the other ones soon. And I found all of these, and I'm gonna keep the little lizard gecko lagartijo thingies for me for personal reasons. I have no idea what to do with snakes, so I'm just gonna spray paint them black too so that they can be Halloween decorations for when Halloween does come, I say in the middle of March. And I found this. This was a unicorn sharpener that obviously does not work anymore. I am going to fill in the insides and give it a little horn, and I'm gonna spray paint it black too, and it's gonna be decoration for my room. So there you go. I have no idea what to do with the butterflies because they used to be, I used them to make clips for my hair, but they literally fell off the clips no matter what I tried. This is like the only one that sticks on for some reason. I don't know what to do with them, so I'm gonna leave them alone. And I found these little animal ones. They're very cute. I want to spray paint them, but I want to spray paint them in colors and not black, so I'm gonna leave them alone too. I took a toothpick and like some hot glue and I made a little horn, and not gonna lie, it looks kind of pretty on its own like this. I'm debating keeping it white, but I don't like that you can see through it, so I am going to spray paint it. I don't know what to do with the bottom just yet, but we'll figure it out. All right, so I ended up covering the bottom with just hot glue, and I gave her little tears because I love a little sad unicorn. And I'm kind of excited because I think you'll be able to see the stuff once it's been spray painted. Yeah, so they're spray painted. I did not have enough spray paint, which I knew was gonna happen, and so like some of them still have like color shining through, which is not a problem because once again, this isn't really for anything important. I'm gonna turn these into Halloween decorations probably. The ones that I wanted to say black for the most part are fine. I'm gonna go over them again and paint, but yeah. I ended up only I cut up those command strip tape thingies and I put them on them. You can kind of see on this one because I had to move it, but it's not really that noticeable, and I like it. They're like crawling above my wall. So I ended up doing some other things. I covered it in this like bead gel thing that I had as a free sample from an art store, and then I covered it in Mod Podge, and you can't really tell, but like the shine from the CD reflects on the gloss. You can sort of tell there, it's like purple. Anyway, it's cute. I don't know what to do with it at all, but it's cute for now. So I had these things planned for way before Comic-Con, and then when I got the news, I kind of only worked on that and I left these alone. So they've been just like this for a while. On one hand, they look kind of cool on its own right now, but that wasn't the plan. So let's just try to do it. All right, so I brought a couple of the things that I think I need for a couple of the crafts that I want to be able to knock out. Not necessarily all today, obviously, but throughout the month while I have like these gaps of time, because they're things that I've been wanting to do for a while and I just kind of hold off because of Comic-Con prep and doing a bunch of other things and job applications. So I just figured today is a good day. My grandparents are going to be here, so I'm probably not going to be doing this all day anyway. I have to help them out with some things. But for the most part, I think today's going to be a good day for this, at least. Now let's look at what I brought. So I got this box back in February, obviously for Valentine's Day, and I really liked the shape of it because the back is like sturdy, but this is a little heart. Oh, it's shaking. And I think I can like paint over it and put it on my wall so that it can be like a secret stash thing for like, I don't know, Post-it notes or something, because I just like having little weird things for storage in my room. So that one's gonna be a thing today. I'm gonna at least try to cover this up with something. I obviously have these, and I already know where I'm going with these today, so I think I can just do the base color today, maybe work on the silverware that's going on it and the little butterflies, but I know where this is going. And finally, I found this little mini canvas. I have no idea who painted on it. I don't know if it was me, my sister, whatever. Point is, no one wants it, and I have other little mini canvases in my room that I can work with, and I think I'm just gonna draw like an eye or something on this, something cute. So I realized while I was editing that I sort of briefly mentioned Comic-Con, but I didn't actually get into it, and it's mainly because I was thinking of posting this video afterwards, but since I had so much free time in between while I wait for my packages, I figured I might as well finish it now. So on this sketchbook, which is like my thumbnail sketchbook, I have all of these little ideas that I came up with way back in February, mainly because I was watching too much Rachel Maxey and decided I need to Hobbitcore my living situation, because what am I if not a Hobbit? A lot of it were things that were completely 100% doable with all of the recycled materials that I had in my house, and other things are for future projects. And I wouldn't necessarily say that all of the crafts that I end up doing in this video are necessarily Hobbitcore. I don't really tend to do any one aesthetic, but I do think that Hobbit is really where I'm going with these sort of things. So when I drew the original concepts for this craft, at least, I was having Bilbo Baggins in mind, and I was like, what do hobbits like? I know, they like to eat. Same here. And I found these old plastic silverware things that we don't really use anymore, and we have multiple around the house, but it didn't have a knife, so that's why the one in the middle is like the little butterflies that I found around the house, because I couldn't complete the set. But I think having everything in the same color and then going over it with like that fake gold really helped to get it together, and I really like how this turned out. Now, as for materials, obviously, if you want to do something like this, you can do whatever you want. You don't necessarily have to do the same thing that I do, but I found these little wooden plaques at the art store months ago, and I kept them knowing that I was going to end up using them for something like this, and then I ended up designing the thing basically way later, so I didn't really have an idea when I bought them. I just kind of knew that I wanted them for my room. Right now I'm just painting them in 2 shades of green and a little bit of black around the edges to give it sort of texture. Once it sort of dried a little bit more, I added the lighter shade of green into certain edges to give it sort of like brush strokes around it to make it look aged. I didn't really have any gold paint, or at least I didn't have any of the gold paint that would actually work on this kind of surface. I only had like watercolor gold paint, and it was really thin, so I ended up getting a Posca pen that was a metallic gold and going over the creases. I wanted it to look like an old sculpture, not necessarily naturalistic or anything, so I only painted on the pieces that I thought would still have some paint sort of chipping off of it, but I didn't really look at a reference picture when I was doing this, so I'm sure it is 100% wrong, but it looks good to me, and that's what matters because it's in my room. I will say that when I was doing the spoon, I was really hesitant because I didn't know what exactly I was doing, but I think once I got to the fork, everything kind of made more sense. So I was able to go back and forth to do what I needed to do, and with the butterflies, it was so much easier because the edges were so much more defined that the paint just kind of went into the creases with the napkin while I was doing it, and so that was fun. I kind of tried to recreate that on the silverware too, and there you go. And once it dried, even though the color was exactly where I wanted it to be, it still looked kind of dull. So off camera, I ended up putting Mod Podge all over them. I originally wanted to draw flowers on the wooden plaques, kind of like how old school Dutch Baroque paintings had that, but I ended up doing it much more naturalistically because, let's face it, by the time I was doing it, I was tired and I did not really care. I just wanted to get the flowers on it, and I think that actually kind of worked in my favor because I still had some gouache left over on my palette that I didn't really have too much of, and I didn't want to make more, and it came out in like a really nice sort of vintagey way. In other words, I achieved the style that I was really looking into when I was doing my research on how to do the whole wooden plaques thing, and without having to do too much of the detail, which is fine by me because when it comes to flowers, even though I draw them a lot, I'm never too scientific about it. So it captures the essence of what I wanted to without me having to go in with such a tiny little brush to get all of the details on all of the petals. And it's still pretty. And while I'm at it, I kind of hate how stark white some of these flowers look while I was recording, because in real life, it does not look that bright. So the values kind of blend together more. I don't know, I think it's the light. Then I did some finishing touches and was ready to get hot glued. I put the silverware and the little butterflies on the plaques off camera, and I do recommend that you use a really strong glue. I went in first with a hot glue gun, and for the most part it was fine, but I could tell that some parts of it were struggling to stay on, so I had to use way more hot glue than I originally intended, and it probably would have been better if I just used super glue or something, but I could not find it for the life of me, so hot glue it was, even though I had to do a lot of retouching. Thankfully, the hot glue is clear, so you can only really see it when you're looking at it from the side, but since this is going to be a wall hanging, I don't really think it matters. Plus, it's just for my room. If you're going to be doing it for a place that everyone walks into and that's kind of a problem for you, then definitely use super glue. Once everything was as sturdy as I liked it and dry, I ended up going on it with 2 layers of Mod Podge, and now everything is all shiny. Plus, the silverware and the butterflies really do look like a sculpture, and I love it a lot. While I was on my Hobbit core kick, I decided to do a little dessert with the little heart shape that I had. I briefly considered making one of those fake plaster cakes. I've always wanted to do that, and I still really want to do that, but I decided to wait until I have either a bigger box or an actual event to do it for, because I want it to be like really big. So I decided this could be like a little practice test, and I figured if not cake, then pie. If you notice from when I was going over my sketches, originally I had a lot of different ideas for what the pie could look like. I had lattice pies, I had little tarts, I looked at galettes, I once again looked at a lot of different kinds of cakes, or just a lot of different heart-shaped desserts, but I thought you can't go wrong with a lattice because they just look so pretty. They kind of remind me a lot of Snow White, and I thought, you know what, a hobbit would love a good lattice pie. A little heart-shaped lattice pie with like fruit, and I sold me. So I also considered going more 3D and just painting the entire base like this, so like it looked like sort of the suggestion of fruit, and then I could use the leftover scraps of paper that I had to make the lattice myself, make like a pattern, because when I was making my Moana costume, I realized that while I was making the little edges, little triangles at the bottom of her skirt, that they really looked a lot like pie, and that's still a big embroidery plan for me. I want to be able to make a little pie out of embroidery when I have the time, but it's been so long since I've legitimately sat down to paint something for me that I got too in the zone with this, and I just ended up painting the whole thing. And considering how much anxiety I've had over the past month about getting ready for my first ever convention, I kind of needed that, so I'm really happy with how it turned out anyway. It only took me an entire episode of Moon Knight. And while I was painting this, and I really loved how this all turned out anyway, I realized that I had never actually painted a pie. I've doodled pies or maybe added a pie to like a drawing or something, but it's always been the one where like the crust is all over it and it's got the little sort of teardrop cutouts. I think, let's face it, I've only been drawing them like that because I watched Snow White at an early age, but that is beside the point. And I've never actually done lattice, so this was a good like little challenge for me, because at first, I don't know if you can tell, while I was painting it, at this point I was about ready to give up because I did not like how it was looking. But the more I ended up working on it, the more I really liked it, so I'm really proud of it. And please forgive me if I'm getting any of the terminology wrong. I am not a baker, I just like to eat. And I think what made this thing so easy is that it really wasn't that much layering, I guess. It wasn't that hard. Once you got the pattern down, it was fine. I just need to figure out where the stripes are supposed to overlap each other, and anything else that was a little too messy, I could just blame it on the fruit sort of popping out or it being a little messy, so I'm completely okay with it. It really makes me want to get those shaped canvases, the ones that are coming like interesting shapes like hearts or circles, ovals, maybe even a star. I sort of saw that once on like TikTok. I don't know if somebody made it or if they bought it that way, but I really, really, really want them because I've only ever painted, and I realized while I was working on this too, that I've only ever painted on square or rectangular canvases, and most of them have been the flat ones, so not even the ones that have the wooden border on it, because those are the ones that are available in the art store near me. So if I start painting again, for me, I definitely want to buy the funky shaped ones and sort of put them around my room if they ever fit anywhere. And me not already owning some of those different shaped canvases is so wild to me, considering how much I love to make just nonsense in my sketchbooks and make interactive pages and cutouts. I feel like that is the next step for me. And as you can already tell, I also put a layer of Mod Podge on the pie just to make sure that it looked really glossy, because even though I was really happy with it, I realized that the fruit just wasn't shining as much as I wanted it to, and this really helped. Oh, and by the way, I had put a stapler inside the heart as we speak so that it wouldn't fly away when I wasn't holding it, because it was really windy that day, and I'm glad I did. So if you do something like this, make sure to keep it stable. Will I be keeping the stapler in there? Absolutely not. So while this is sturdy enough to go on my wall, I think I will only be using it to keep light things like Post-it notes on the inside, because while very pretty, I don't really think I can practically use it to hold a lot of heavy things. I think this is just going to be for Post-it notes and stickers, and I'm excited to use it. And once I finished this step, I let it dry for a little bit while I went to have lunch and everything. And then the next day I came back and I ended up having to secure some of the edges a little bit because they kind of peeled up a little bit. But once I had a little bit of glue, everything was perfectly fine, and now it's a really cute little pie. I also briefly considered either adding a little bit of glitter to where the fruit is or some little heart-shaped stickers around it just to make it look even cuter, but because this was the first time I've ever done something like this, I didn't really want to ruin it, so I left it as is. But if you guys ever do something like this and you put stickers in it, please let me see them, because I would love to see it. I think it would look really cute if it was like glittery. I don't know. I think if you're really into sort of like really cutesy cottagecore things, that would be really fun. I am sort of into that. I'm more of a little hobbit/goblin thing, so I didn't want to go too far with it, but I think it would look really nice either way. And my last craft that I ended up doing in this video is just this little tiny canvas. I made a little eye. In my room, on the wall directly in front of my bed and above where I keep my snow globes, I have a couple of canvases that I've worked on. One that's like really old, one that's like a self-portrait, and then I have little tiny canvases, you know, like this one, like a little tiny square, and one of them is an eye and another one is a mouth and a nose. And over the years, I both love them and hate them because I did them so long ago and I know my technique is so much better. And I am right, because after I finish this and I put them together, I love the new one so much more. And I kind of want to take the one that's a nose and a mouth and rip it off the wall and just make another eyeball so that I can have 3 eyeballs staring back at me. But until then, I am still really proud of how this one came out, because like I said before, it's been so long since I've painted something for myself, and I'm actually really impressed with how this came out, because I have been doing Comic-Con prep for a month and a half now, and most of the art that I've been making recently has been digital, has been on my iPad, and I haven't painted in a while, so this actually made me really happy. And I know this seemed really quick, but it actually took me 2 days, mainly because while I was doing all my crafts, I ended up doing all of them sort of at once. So not everything here is in chronological order. I just made them by project so that it would make more sense. But I actually painted the red base at the same time as when I cut out the white page that would go up on the heart canvas, and I also ended up doing a lot of the Mod Podge for the other project at the same time. Now, as for Comic-Con, I've actually been working on a really big video this whole time. Ever since I got the news that I was going to be in it, I have been filming basically a vlog-ish video about the entire process and what I've been going through. And I actually thought that I would be out with that video before I made this one, but I did, like I said before, had a brief moment of time where I ended up doing all these crafts because I was waiting for my packages, and I'm still really anxious about it, but hopefully everything will come out fine and I'll have a new video up for you guys to see because I'm actually really excited about it. So it's more of an in-depth look at how long it took me to get ready, which I think I don't usually do. Usually it's just me doing a little voiceover while I do work, like right in front of you guys. And I don't know, I'm really excited about it. So hopefully everything comes out well and you guys can see this in the meantime. And I've also realized over the past month and a half that I've gotten a lot more subscribers to this channel, so I don't want to keep you guys hanging. I want to be able to come out with more videos for you guys, but I just need time basically. So hopefully I will have more videos up once this one's out, and hopefully once the Comic-Con vlog is out, because I do have other plans for personal projects, or maybe you guys would like to see me work in my sketchbook more, because I do have ideas. I just need to figure out when to film them and when to get them to you guys. But until then, I didn't want you guys to wait too long because I'm not going to be at Comic-Con until April 15th to 17th, and I know well enough that I will probably take a little break immediately afterwards because I will be exhausted. So I wanted to have something out for you guys in the meantime. Same thing goes for TikTok. If you guys follow me on TikTok, I have been trying to keep up with my regular posting schedule and just uploading drafts, but hopefully I can make more videos soon because I do have some sounds saved up, because I want to be able to show you guys obviously the crafts that I've just done in this video and more of the Comic-Con stuff. And hopefully once Comic-Con is over, I can also add new stickers to my Etsy shop because I've made new designs that I think would go really well with the rest of the stuff that I have on Etsy, and I can try to focus on making even more sticker designs because I bought this new sticker paper that's like transparent. I don't know, I really like it. I also kind of want to learn how to make a grass type blanket, and I want to be able to make like a petal garland because I have a bunch of fake petals lined up, but we will see how that goes. I need to stop making plans for crafts that I don't even know how to accomplish when I still have so much to do. So yeah, that was my little painting, and here's what it ended up looking like. Like I said, I really want to redo that lips one. This is what those little geckos look like again. They're crawling up my wall. And then this is the pie and my little wooden plaques. Once I can get a video of them without the sun glaring, it'll look really good. But see, it opens up, and now I have a little secret hiding stash. Here's a video of it with the blinds down. The sun is still filtering right through it because it's really bright down here, but I like it. It looks really saturated and I'm really happy with them. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I can get more videos out soon. I realized after I had already set it up that the sort of lid kept falling off, and I fixed it by adding a little bit of Velcro. So now I can do this. Ha ha ha! Very exciting. I'm also probably gonna get rid of some of my movie posters, or at least move them to a different wall, because I got a little unicorn tapestry, and how fun would it be if she was like directly under it? Fantastic. Mark your freaking days. Once I figure out how to make corsets and how to make a blanket that looks like grass, it's over for all of you.